Hey, I'm glad you're back to my video, and if you're new, this is the second video on this topic, where I want to explain in detail of how to travel to Mount Slamet, the second highest mountain of Java. If you want to see the cinematic short film, I will add a sticker here in the corner. Back to the video title. This video is going to tell you of where we started our hike, how we got there, which gear we used, how much it cost us, and how much time you will need to approach this mountain. First off, I started my journey from Cilacap, a fisherman city in the south of Java. With a motorbike I drove a few hours until I got to Gucci, a town on foot of Mount Slamet. Hey my friends, we are here in Bumir Ayu. We are on our way to visit Mount Slamet tomorrow, and it's been a long drive now. We are in the deepest part of Java. We haven't seen any tourists yet, so it's like a really true adventure for myself. But it's nice to see the traffic here and the surroundings. It's really beautiful. So yeah, hopefully I can show you something else. This city is also famous for its hot spring waters and heated swimming pools. However, you can basically start your journey up the mountain from several villages around the mountain. The reason I happened to start here was that I got connected to my guide Fajar through a good friend of mine. Once in Gucci, I got to the entry of the national park. Yes, to climb this mountain you will have to pay an entry fee. This fee includes the maintenance of the park, permissions to sleep and other costs. The hikes up the mountain should start in the morning. That's why I stayed in Gucci for one night. Alright guys, we arrived finally and it just started to rain heavily, so let's have a look outside. You have the option of staying directly at base camp in a shared accommodation with all the other hikers, or rent a room on your own. The next morning, after a quick breakfast, our group gathered and we started our journey. Not having any hiking experience in Indonesia, I chose to grab a bike ride up to base camp 1. Alright guys, funny story. They're taking up us with the bikes now. A little bit where the route starts, the tire exploded, so right now I'm waiting here in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, it's quite funny. And I also do recommend it to you, as the heat and humidity are really high. Per ride you will have to pay 50k EDR. At base camp 1, it's where the whole group gathers. If you take the ride, you will have some time to enjoy a coffee there or talk with the other drivers and hikers. From base camp 1 to base camp 2, you hike through the jungle. You can see monkeys jumping around, a different type of flowers and trees, which I don't know myself. At base camp 2 we enjoyed a cup of coffee and had a little break to relax. Here at base camp 2 now, having a nice cup of coffee. I would say this part of the hike is really steep. During our hike to camp 3, not much happened. We adjusted to the climate and found our pace up the mountain. We made progress pretty fast. At base camp 3, I finally found an open area to get out my drone and film some sequences. Only 5 minutes later, we were surprised by heavy rain and our clothes were soaking wet, really fast. Luckily, all our gear was dry and the clothes dry pretty fast too, due to the heat. At camp 4 we set up our camp for the night. Be alerted! Before the camp 4 you will find the old camp 4, which is probably used during high seasons only. Alright guys, we made it to base camp 4 now. We are at an altitude of 2,448 meters and we just were surprised by some heavy rain for the last 20 minutes. Which really cooled us down, as it's really warm here, and the guys behind us are setting up the camp, so we don't have to do anything. But yeah, I'm excited to look forward to what's going to be next. Until here, the hike would have lasted maybe 5 to 6 hours. The location of this camp is just near a spring of fresh water. The time of the afternoon was used to rest, cook our meals, take some videos and dry our clothes. I fall asleep pretty early. Meanwhile, other hikers were having a nice campfire outside. The next morning I woke up pretty early, as the hike is supposed to start at 3 AM in order to see the sunrise on top of the mountain. However, our group had little difficulties and we started about 20 minutes later. All the hikers made a little prayer before going up, hopefully also asking the mountain for permission. The hike to Camp 5 is really hard. There's places you have to climb steps as high as my hips to continue. In the middle of the night, this is definitely not easy. After about an hour, you will arrive at Camp 5. Here you can get a break, drink or eat something before attempting to summit the mountain. Camp 5 is also supposed to be a high spiritual place, so if you feel something there, don't be afraid. After Camp 5, you leave the tree line behind you. From now on, it's only rocks, sand and bushes. There's a small trail and some signs along the way to guide you the way to the summit. After a while, the terrain gets even steeper and sandier. At this point, the sunrise was just happening for us. The earth started heating up and the clouds grew below of us into a thick layer of what looks like cotton covering all the jungle. It was pretty awesome. At some point of the ascent, you will find ropes which are there to help the hikers to the summit. The terrain gets really steep here, so I do recommend to use them on your way up and on your way down. And then suddenly the crater emerges in front of you. I felt really relaxed once arriving there, and it felt like the exhaustion left my whole body. Happy to have reached the top, we then walked along the crater, which you could circle if you wanted to. At the official summit, we had our breakfast and enjoyed ourselves before taking the path down again. Don't forget that the way down is where most accidents happen. Also in this case, many of our group, including me, fall 1 or 2 times because of the difficulty of the terrain. The way down leads you to Camp 4, where we enjoyed another warm meal, packed all our stuff together and started our descent back to Gucci. At Base Camp 1, you will have the possibility again to take a bike down to the town or to do the extra miles, walking along the rice fields, a waterfall and get to know the area a little bit better. And what's better than finishing your adventure with a hot shower? Heated by the volcano activity itself, just next to the entry of the park, you can find a hot shower. To summarize, this was a 2-day hike for us with an elevation of over 2,000 meters. Our group paid 3 million EDR, including all the gear, transport, food, entries, guides and so on. I really enjoyed this experience and want to be back to Indonesia to get to know more of the beautiful mountains this country has to offer. And that's the video. Thank you for watching.